And you've just heard Gold by Selkie, which is a single from the EP In Waves, which is out later this month. And I'm so pleased to be joined by Selkie now. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm really good, thanks. We should let people know exactly when the EP is out.
It is out on the 28th of August. A nice Friday.
It's a Friday release. And we've just heard Gold there. What can you tell us about that track?
So that's the last single that I released from the EP. It's been out about a month now. It's quite a gentle little song that I wrote, inspired by kintsugi. It's a Japanese art and philosophy of filling the cracks with gold, basically making things that are broken
Yeah,
whole.
so have you a piece of broken pottery or something like that, then they would I think, as far as I know, I haven't read a lot about it, but almost making something new or something with a
Yeah,
different beauty from that
yeah.
process.
Instead of just discarding it and thinking it's ugly, it's making it, seeing what it is for its new, like the journey it's gone through and made it beautiful, so that it's still beautiful either way. Yeah.
And the song has a beautiful video to accompany it as well. You tell us a bit about that because it doesn't look as though it's been filmed in Glasgow.
No, no, we filmed that in the some mountains in Chile. It was me and my partner, who isn't a videographer, but I think she did an amazing job. We just took one of my old cameras and it was just a scorching, dry, deserty mountain area. And I basically just moved around like a witch. um, no, our skin was like cracking dry with the dust. It was pretty intense, but yeah, I think she did an amazing job. And
It's Sorry, I was going to say it's great because, there's not, the finances of the music business, as we know, is not what they used to be. But it reminded me of when people had money to make big, fancy videos back in the 80s and stuff like that. And they would, yeah, we'll go to Chile and film it and all that. So you just happened to be in Chile
ah,
when you thought
yeah, yeah,
we're going to
my,
film the video for this track.
yeah. My partner's from Chile, so we're visiting her family.
I see.
And she was, I know this place. I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be a cool backdrop. It's going to look amazing. Let's just go for it. And we filmed it in December and didn't pull it out the hard drive until like May or June or something. And yeah, just came together very
Yeah.
nice, very quickly. Yeah, it was great.
I really urge people to go and check it out. It's a lovely video and actually really works well with the track. And do you think Gold, I mean, you say it's the third and final single, is a good introduction to the EP as a whole?
Well, yeah, because the first two singles that I released were more electronic, and this one is more guitar based. And my music sort of mixes between electric guitar and electronics. So Gold has a little bit of that like electronic shimmer throughout it. And yeah, I think it's a pretty middle ground of the rest of the album.
I think the EP, I mean, I've been listening to it this week, and there is that real mix of guitar, as you say, but kind of almost ambient pop as well, and like dance beats and all sorts of different things. How did the EP come together? How did you work on it?
Oh, that's a big story. It's been a long time coming.
Okay, I'll
Um,
settle back and relax as you talk.
yeah, I started, well, the electronic stuff was brand new to me at the time. I had like GarageBand at the time.
Hmm.
When I started making hours, this was probably around 5, 6 years ago. I was just muddling around with loops and seeing what you could do. And I made it was a completely different track from what it is now. But that was the first song. I was just endless experiments with what I could do in GarageBand before I moved on to Logic. Um, and then, yeah, then like COVID came around and I was still working on some of the songs. I was still learning lots of stuff. Watched so many YouTube videos about how to do electronic stuff. Just spent my days sat in the window. Um, And eventually I moved to Berlin
Right, okay.
to study songwriting, where I learned a little bit more about production. And I met my friend Coda, who is the mixing and mastering engineer for the EP. And he basically helped me pull it all together because I made all the songs myself, all the arrangement, the production. But he like just tweaked little bits and polished it and did the mastering and was like, okay, these songs are finished now, basically.
Right. And
But
did you think if you needed someone to tell you they're finished? That's interesting.
yeah, the thing is, because I never, I mean, I've been making music forever, ever, like since I was very small. But it was always just acoustic guitar, and it really bothered me. And then I got an electric guitar, and then that bothered me that it was just electric guitar. I was in some bands, but I was always wanting some kind of different sound, and I just never knew, never had access to anything electronic. So when I got my laptop and was like, okay, explore GarageBand, um, I was able to start making things sound how I've always kind of thought I wanted them to sound.
Right.
Um, because I still feel kind of new, like this is my debut EP. Like I've
Yeah.
only released a couple of singles, so I'm not being that confident and feeling like this is ready for people to listen to because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I don't really know that many things I would compare the music to either. So it's hard for me to feel like it doesn't sound exactly like anything. So how can it be ready?
Well, there's lots of things to unpack there, I think. The idea I've spoken to a lot of people who the difficulty is deciding that it's finished because you could tinker and tinker and tinker. And I think sometimes, a bit like with a writer, when an editor comes in, they can maybe say, no, look, that bit is finished, you have to move on. I think a producer or someone else, another set of ears can help do that.
The set of ears is amazing, yes, because when you're on your own as well, you just get stuck in your own loops and it can go a bit crazy, and it's hard to keep the motivation going all the time. But then saying a song's finished as well, what I did was instead of actually finished recordings, was I made the productions and I started performing them live. And it was through that I finally gained the confidence to be like, these are songs. I play them all the time to lots of people. People are liking them. And I've heard them so many times that obviously it's a song. It's like music. It's ready. It's got all the bits that I want to hear.
So were these the way, as a non-musician, were these the way you heard these songs in your head? You didn't maybe just quite know how to get them to sound like that?
I guess so. I don't really know if I knew how the song should sound exactly, but I knew that there was something I was searching for in the sound that if I was able, because I could never fully describe it very well, which has been a bit of a nightmare when I've tried to collaborate with people. So when I've been able to like search through sounds and try different techniques and figure out what the sound is, I'm like, yes, this is what I've been looking for, and this is how to achieve it. Now I know, and now I can explain it in a more simple way, a more easy way to understand for other people I'm working with, or just do it myself now.
Yeah.
I've learned.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I
So
don't know where I was going there.
no, no. So yeah, I mean, so these songs, some of them at least, have been with you for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm interested. You went to Berlin. How did that affect the songs that have come out now? Do you think this would have been a very different EP if you hadn't
Mhm.
gone there?
Well, to be honest, I didn't perform them in Berlin. Maybe one or two songs here and there, but mostly what I learned in Berlin, that was when I had more access to, because from the university I was studying, they gave us access to some like Ableton Push and just like some different like MIDI controllers, some different electronic things we could just experiment with. So that changed a lot. That's what got me performing live with the electronic stuff. Because before I had no idea at all how to do it. So that wouldn't have happened without Berlin. But I don't know if it's affected the sound. But I just spent all my time in my bedroom using all these machines and trying to figure out how things work in Berlin. That's what Berlin did for me.
Excellent. I like that idea, because There was a trio, I think, of Bowie albums where it says this is his Berlin trilogy. So you can, this is my Berlin, even if it's not in any way kind of affecting it. But in terms of the songs, then you think these are done. How long ago was that? When you think these are done and they're now it's now an EP, or is it ever? I mean, you kind of smiled there. Maybe you don't think they're ever done, but in terms of going right, this is good. We're going to put these out now.
So when I released Hours last year, that was like the big one because that was the one that sort of started it all, and was never ever able to decide. Okay, it's ready, it's ready, it's ready. There is 500 different versions of that song. So the one that I made and finished with Coda that we released, that was sort of like the start. Like, okay, now let's just get the rest of the music out because that was like the big one to get over.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other ones were much easier, much, much easier, especially by then because I'd figured out more what I was doing as well. So yeah, all the rest was done within the rest of the year until now.
Well, we're going to hear ours later on, and people can hear that difficult first song for themselves. But you've mentioned a couple of times about learning about electronic music and being. What was it that drew you to electronic music? Because some people, who we could say these songs, I don't know if you could or not, work on acoustic guitar or you didn't get electric guitar, but you seemed that you were dissatisfied with that. You wanted a different sound.
Yeah, just like the extra kind of atmospheric sort of. Because with playing acoustic guitar, yeah, it can be nice, and some people make it sound really beautiful with just an acoustic guitar. But I was just kind of bored and wanted more layers. Like I'm a very dreamy, hazy kind of person, and I just wanted to be able to make all of the music kind of feel like a sort of hazy world. And I'm quite dynamic as well when I sing and play guitar. Like I'm very, very quiet, and then I'm very, very loud.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to use other instruments to do that. Because actually, I think in my recordings, like my singing isn't as dynamic as I am when I perform live. But yeah.
We'll talk about the Selkie live experience in a moment. I'm interested to hear about that. But you also said, you thought this music doesn't sound like anything else, so it was difficult to maybe explain to people what it was or describe it. So I'm interested, there were no particular musical inspirations that led you to make this music?
Well, I've always been a fan of artists like Kate Bush, Björk,
Yeah.
Tori Amos, that kind of crowd of female alternative singer-songwriters. But actually, through the whole making of the EP, like I used to be a huge, huge, huge music fan, as in to listen to
Yeah,
music.
sure.
I haven't listened to music that much at all in the last 4 or 5 years, and I don't know why. Just zoned in on my own stuff. Just so anything that I used to listen to, I guess, is maybe part of me, and
Yeah.
I've just don't know where it is anymore, where it came from. And over the last 5 years, I've sort of just taken whatever is left over somewhere in my head and made it into something.
I think two of those influences are particularly interesting because Björk and Tori Amos used electronic music to great effect. One, I think, remix, but Björk kind of front and center, and the people that she worked with.
Yeah.
When I was listening to the EP, particularly some of the tracks that have got kind of more of a drums and beats going through them, I was thinking kind of trip hop, early noughties ambient pop music, where you would have, as you say, kind of often gentle vocals, but with kind of beats behind them as well. I mean, people will listen and have come up with their own ideas about maybe what's on there. But there's a track, my favorite track on it is Lick the Sun, which when people hear it, they'll maybe find out why. But that's got a lot of what we're talking about, a lot of kind of heavier drums and beats on it. Can you talk a little bit about that side of things?
Yeah, so that one is the interesting one that appeared last. Those drums are actually very, very new, but they are something that has been in my head for a long time. So I wrote this song a few years ago as well. And I've just been playing it solo on guitar whenever I play shows.
Okay.
And kind of just go crazy on the guitar at the end until I decide to stop. Um, But I always wanted like this really contrasting, just a loud drum beat, basically. And I wanted it to be kind of imperfect and yeah, it's kind of, is it like trip hoppy? I don't really know what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I was thinking kind of for me, I mean, I'm going way back to the 90s and stuff, but Massive Attack
yeah,
with when they worked with Tracy Thorn and tricky albums and things like that. But even later on, you had bands like Zero Seven and Mortiba, and there was a real thing in the early noughties, that kind of a mixture of styles, a mixture of genres, a bit of guitar getting brought in, a bit of your different vocals getting brought in. And I think you're doing that, perhaps not without any influence from others, but that's what's kind of,
yeah.
appearing to me. So it's really interesting to hear that it's almost all coming from you and this idea in your head about how you wanted songs to sound and, going away and learning, not because you've heard it on other people's records, but because this is what you wanted to learn and learn more about.
I mean, I must have heard things at somewhere at some point. Like I've definitely had influences, but I just mean not like an active, like something that I'm like referencing or like I want it to sound like this song and just like pieces that have stuck with me from different pieces of music over
Yeah.
the years. And I don't know.
Which, going back to your other influence, if you listen to the whole back catalogue of Kate Bush, is exactly that as well. Something really diverse and changeful and all sorts of things. I also like Lick the Sun because it's such a great title. Where does that come from? It's such an evocative title.
Yeah, we're back to COVID again here. I had a flatmate from Iceland, and she told me it's a phrase that they use there. As soon as the sun comes out, like you need to go out and lie back and lick the sun. Um, and I just got that sounds so cool. I want to use it. And when I was
Yeah,
sitting like in my little window during COVID when the weather was amazing, like I was like, I am licking the sun. Just the sun is it's just me and the sun in this window.
I
And
love
then
that.
sitting with my guitar, and I just came up with it there.
I love that. And it's the track which finishes the EP. It's the last track on the EP. And I'm always interested in how easy it is to order an album or an EP, tracks. Did it come quite easily or was it something that was discussed?
Well, I never discussed it with anybody. I was planning on releasing it on vinyl, but I just wasn't able to make that happen at the moment. So I was kind of trying to, how would I split this in two? And I knew I wanted the first song, Dream Wheels, to open
Mhm.
with Swimming because they feel like they're kind of like a package. Um, and like it just feels like an introduction to the rest of the album, I think. Um, Yeah, I don't know because I hadn't finished like the Sun when I had decided it was going to be the last song, but because I knew that it was going to be kind of drum heavy, epic, I thought it's going to work. It's going to work. Trust.
It's interesting that you so strongly said, "Oh no, I never asked anyone." Which you have had other people, helping you with the tracks or working on the tracks, but even then you went, "No, this is my decision. This is my."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
which
just
is
sometimes I
absolutely
feel
fair
like
enough.
I think I need help on this, and other things I'm like, oh,
I
I'm
can, I
gonna
know.
just end up going in a circle arguing with someone.
And was it, as you said, the EP's coming out on the 28th, but there's going to be a launch at the Glad Cafe, a launch night at the Glad Cafe on August the 25th, which I can't wait to hear these songs live. I can't wait to see you do it. What can people expect from a live Selkie show?
So this show in particular, I am going to play the EP start to finish. I'm reworking some of the songs a bit from my usual performances, but I guess not a lot of people in Glasgow have heard my usual performances, so maybe you guys won't know the difference. But I'm working on some new arrangements, and yeah, I'm going to play some other unreleased music as well.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, just to this the songs are so striking recorded. I can't wait to hear them live as well. Particularly when you suggested that even your singing style could be different live than it is on
Yeah.
on the record.
I sort of lose control when I'm singing live. When I'm at a microphone and everything's kind of like, don't breathe, stay still, make
Yeah,
sure you don't knock the table.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
sing more gentle, but when I'm live, I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. And I just kind of bellow.
And you mentioned you had considered it going on vinyl, which actually listening to it, I can hear two sides to it, no doubt about it. Is that something you might consider in the future, or is that?
I definitely want to. The whole idea of this EP was dreamed up of it being on vinyl at some point, so I hope so.
Well, I hope you get to do that because you'd certainly, I'll be first in the queue to buy a copy.
Thank you.
Selkie, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. I mean, I really love the EP. I've been listening to it since you sent me a link to it. So, all the very best with it. I hope it reaches the huge audience it deserves to.
Thank you so much.
And this is Selkie and Ours.